Here's the question. How do you make the impossible possible? Simple. Remove the I am, the ego. Now, how do you step into that newfound possibility? With a series of small intentional steps. Never forget, the greatest among us started from humble beginnings. But to truly unlock your potential, realize you're here for something greater. If you're yearning for more than just a good life, let's take that small step together to reach greatness. Welcome to the Greatness from Small Beginnings podcast, where we're talking to those who have gone from mediocrity to motivated, overlooked to overachieving, forgettable to unforgettable. Are you ready? Let's go.
Good afternoon. This is the Greatness from Small Beginnings podcast. And I have these two guys on, father, son. I'm in a business like this, father, son. And so it's never boring, number one, right?
Yeah.
And number two, the opinions clash. There's tension, but you know what? It's not a bad tension.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Right?
Yeah.
It's not a bad tension. It's just a tension. And we have we have to learn to live with it, and sometimes the old is, pushes against the new and the new pushes against the old, and it's not all bad. Okay. So greatness from small beginnings. Small beginnings. I mean, that's your story so far.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
You're 20. So 20 is young to start a business. I know I did that, and I was not smart in any stretch of the imagination. Nothing about what I did was fully thought through because I didn't even know what to think. So do you feel the same way a little bit?
Yeah, there's a lot of times where I'm only 20. It's like, I don't even know what to think. I got so much growth to do. And it's like, yeah, I feel the same way.
But let's get to the greatness thing. But you've done it. Like, you've decided to do this. You've stepped out, and do you have a backup plan?
Do I?
Do you have a backup plan?
I would say no, but asphalt's my main goal.
Well, see, then you don't have a backup plan. That's why people. You ever heard the term "burn the ships"?
No.
Okay, the people came to America or wherever they were going, and they burnt the ships so they wouldn't get back on them and leave. Okay, they didn't.
Wow.
They burnt the ships. They didn't have a backup plan. They needed to find a way to survive. And that's what we do as business owners, entrepreneurs.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how smart we are. It's that drive, that vision that says, I have to do this. And then you put yourself in a position like you have to say, well, do I have a backup plan? Well, no. No, it's almost silly, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was the same. But I started having kids early, and I was like, oh my gosh, not only do I not have a backup plan, but I better figure out how to feed those mouths too. So let's get into the questions in the podcast, which is earlier when we were off camera, you were kind of working through a definition. What would you say is your definition of great? Oh, let me introduce you first. Okay, Jacob and Kevin, father, son from Black and Yellow Asphalt Solutions. Okay, what area of the country are you in? Just so the listeners will know.
We're on the East Coast. Northeast?
Connecticut.
Oh, I said East Coast. I'm nervous over here.
You're not used to seeing palm trees.
Oh, yeah. It's so nice. It's so nice out over here. I wish I could be here.
Yeah. So we're sitting in Tampa, Florida together.
Yeah.
It's close to 80 degrees outside, maybe something like that. And
we're getting there. Tomorrow's going to be real hot.
Yeah. And so that's nice that we get a little break, although we're in conferences and we're in classes and these kinds of things, learning, right?
Yes.
And so that's why we're here, a asphalt. Let's call it an asphalt convention.
Yeah,
right?
We were lucky enough to just do a 2-hour class review to learn amazing definition of being a servant, and it was an honor to be in the class. Yeah. So thank you.
Servant leadership, it's a big subject, and it's more important now than ever because minds and hearts they just go all over the place, and if we can focus, and that happens through good leadership, good servant leadership. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get to the definition of greatness. Don't pull it out of a can, pull it out of your heart.
If you ask right now at 20 years old, what's greatness? Something I look forward to in life. Like, that's the main goal, is being a provider, not only for business, but for a family one day, and the steps to get there. And then another thing would be nothing for me is spiritually with the Lord, Jesus, taking that walk to the next level, and then physically with myself. So I was 275 at one point, and now 203. So a lot of weight's been lost. I'm not done yet. And those parts of my life when I'm down to 170, my goal, and spiritually we're up and down, but being there and then being a provider one day for a family, that's That's greatness to me right there.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and then you said you had a passion earlier. What is that?
My passion is drifting cars.
Drifting cars. Okay.
Yeah.
So racing,
I do drifting.
Adrenaline rush thing that you got going.
Yeah, I do drifting at Thompson, Connecticut, at Lock City Drifts. And I did like 10 events a year. And it's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Okay. Well, fun is important. It's always been super important to me. In the class that I was teaching earlier, what I didn't say that I could have is that fun is so important to me that when those jobs didn't go well and it was late in the afternoon and I knew we could have finished an hour earlier, I got so mad because you're ruining my fun. That's what it translated into.
Yeah.
You're ruining my fun. Like, I want to go home, go be with my kids. I want to go do something else. Whatever it was. I don't want to go work with this grimy crew, I wanted to go home and have my fun, so to speak. So fun's important to me.
Yeah.
We got to do the things in fun. Sometimes we work to have those fun passions. Yep. That's what I've always done. Work has not been my passion, although I don't hate it. Thank goodness. If you hate it, you probably should do something else. But I never hated it. I just didn't love it. It created for me an income and the things that you mentioned. Provide for my family, for the employees and all that. So what is your story? Let's turn to Dad for here and hand the mic to him. So Jacob is a young man. Right?
Yes.
And you raised him. Where's this come from? And it came from you?
I hate to take the credit because I'm not used to taking credit. I really have to give it to God first. My other 3 kids are girls and they're not falling down my path. With Jesus, we're business. My oldest one now is, thank God. But to have that our sons will follow the Father. And it's an honor for him he saw me at my worst, but he got to see me get to know who I really was in Jesus and become my best. And that's all I got. That I don't know how to word it. I've been very hard on him, because I want him the best for him. And sometimes I forget that he was a kid. You're 20 years old. Why are you not out making more business? Why are you not put out more lawn signs? Why are you not driven? He is, but I'm super driven. He's Mr. Reserved.
Yeah.
I like to talk to everybody. He doesn't. I do. I had to realize he has a different energy level. But the reality is I wanted. He graduated number 2 in his diesel class. Even to get into that diesel school was all God. They said he would never make it. He was 3 grades behind his learning level, but he passed the state test to get in. He proved he could do it. That's what he gave his life to the Lord was that year. And it's just, we had a house fire. It's just amazing what he's been through, but I want him to realize, I think, with your family, that it's more fun to work for yourself than to work for somebody else. Yeah. He will tell you, I let him tell you about his first job and his only job, and he never wanted to work another job. And so it's
some degree you might have, let's call it ruined a bit, right? Yeah, as an employee.
Yeah,
sorry, you're not really cut out for the
employee. No, not.
So that means that though, for me at least, I was uneducated and not smart and not business savvy and awkward, but I could figure it out. Like, I was driven to go do it. The why behind it was kids need to eat, or whatever. We got to pay the bills, whatever. So that's the definition of greatness. So what do you see out 10 years?
10 years from now? Man,
that's a loaded question.
What is right now? I'm shooting right now in 10 years.
But you can put it out into the public, into the world.
I see myself
be more
I see myself in 10 years being a much bigger business with a bunch of employees, taking on some of the biggest contracts in asphalt in where I live, and doing the biggest jobs and giving people what they want, which is the best management of asphalt they can get.
Yeah.
And man, it's big 10 years.
It's big 10 years. Yeah. So you're in parking lot, asphalt
parking lot maintenance.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you're not 10 years. You're not staying there, right? You're going to be you said you're going to be paving parking lots.
I don't know about paving parking lots. I do want to do management. I want to get into doing like bigger infrared repairs.
Okay.
Stuff like that. But I don't know if I want to do full scale paving, but see where God brings me, because every year we're different, and God has took me to places where I never thought I would be. So who knows? In 10 years, I could be one of the biggest pavers in Connecticut. Who knows? So I'll say God's taking me on a path. I'm following it because I know that's the path He's given me, and 10 years that could be something for sure.
Yeah. But Jacob will tell you he loves what he's doing now, but he has 2 other goals that he wants to do for business. Okay. So he's using this for his launch point. And me, I started my own landscape business, but I know how to work hard. I know how to go make money, but I never knew how to run a business.
Yeah.
So that's why I told him he needs to join the AK program, get a coach. That's why we're here today, because as a father, I can only bring him so far. Right. But I brought him as far as I know. Mm-hmm. So now we both have to get around people to teach us both how to be real successful business owners.
Yes.
And I love what he's doing, and I'd love to take over what he's doing. Not his dream or goals, but so he can go achieve other dreams and goals.
Yes.
He loves what he's doing now, but he has great passions about the things he wants to do.
Yeah.
And as a father, that's all we want for our kids is to really, because they're young now, is achieve their dreams and goals.
Yeah, and even if it's not clear, go achieve a dream, a goal. Like, at least be on the pathway. Like, you think about walking down a pathway or running down a pathway. If you're on it, there's a destination. Now, we are very clear to understand and say it's not about the destination, because the process is really where the journey
is where it's most important to me.
Yeah, really. But if you're not on the pathway, then keep taking exits. I mean, you're not on the path anymore, right?
Yeah, as I said, at the end of the day, Mario, if it was just we'll go over one hoop and you go over one hoop and you get the Princess Peach, would the game be fun? No, it's the journey. It's fighting off everyone.
I got to tease you. Of course, a 20-year-old is going to say something about video games.
That's the way I see it. It's like, if you just get to this where you want in life, are you going to be happy just getting there? And I don't think so. I think you're going to be happy fighting for it, learning, failing, getting up, and persevering. And that's what's most important.
I agree. So twice in the last few minutes, your dad's mentioned faith for him, his family, and for you. I'd like to sum up your story of faith. How does that play in? I mean, I want my listeners to know how faith plays into everything we do. Because, I mean, if Keith Callaway's on the other side of this camera, then we're going to end up talking about faith, because that's the way it works. Just the way it works. So what's your journey look like? And then what do you see out in the future you mentioned God, and that God's had you on a journey already. So what does it mean now, and what does it mean for you?
When you say faith, the person that goes in my head is, oh man, the faith for me is just following God. That's all I think of. When it comes to business, believing what He wants, even if He said, drop this right now and do something else, just follow Him, that's faith to me. I don't know if you're expecting like a different definition, but that's all I think of the second. It's just following God. That's it.
Yeah, following God.
And so He is the rock in my business. He is the rock in everything I do. And without that, I have nothing.
Okay. And so what's He said so far? I mean, some of it's self-evident, but what's He said so far?
I don't know about, that's a lot, but He's shown me is I'm going way farther than I thought based off what other business owners here in the last day, like big business owners, have seen what I've done, where I started, where I'm now, and they're like, you're going to be more successful than you even know. And I have problems where I have self-doubt, where I'm like, am I going to be this business owner? Am I going to do this? And sometimes I look back like, well, I did all this already. I'm only 20.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I only started like full time last year. Yeah. Before that, I was in high school. I only did 17 driveways my junior year. And I'm just shocked where I am now. And
that's good. So if faith is the most important thing, God's way of doing things, if He said stop, you'd stop. So let's say that you make a whole bunch of money. What does that mean between you and Him? What does that mean? How do you see today as you look at it? Because obviously we're not in a nonprofit. These are businesses that we need to.
We're going to make money. I mean, that's it.
So what does that mean if you make a whole pile of money? What does that mean for you?
If it's right now that my business did $3 million this year, I want to be a good steward of my money. So I want to build, what's it called? For when you build success for generational income, generational wealth. Also, I want to be a servant to the community, because that's one of the reasons why we are business, just be a servant. So I want to be a servant, build generational wealth. And also, I'd love to, because I enjoy cars, like I said, I'd love to go and do some racing on another level.
Well, in that zone, though, I'm a brother-in-law of mine that does it. There's a lot of help those people need too. A lot of distraction.
Yeah,
you know, having a few good people around is a good thing.
Yeah,
in almost any zone, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I love the answer. I love the heart behind it. I've always felt the same way. I felt constrained for years because I couldn't get over the top. I couldn't really make even generational dollars. You know, it was providing. I was getting greatness kind of from your original definition, but I think you've unfolded it a little bit. You said, well, okay, but if God blesses and gives me that wealth to steward, that doesn't mean just money. It means time. It means more extra energy. It means other resources.
Yep.
Then what do I do with those? Well, I turn those back to doing good things for the kingdom,
the kingdom
of God in the community and other people. I love that. Okay, so how have you done that last year or so? Because I mean, you've done okay. I mean, I wouldn't call it a pile of money, but there's a little bit.
So this first year has been great. Right now, I'll say my dad. He's done amazing things for me. He's pushed me in a lot of ways where I haven't pushed myself. I'm so grateful for him, and what he's done. He's done a lot. I mean, without him, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I'll say that. Yeah. And this year mainly we did a lot of yard signs, a few cold calling, but mainly I did a lot of high neighborhoods, driveways. It was giving them what they're fulfilling their expectations, going past that, and at a good price. And the next door neighbor seen it, I got a call. Next thing I know, I got another call. I'm going back to this neighborhood 10, 15 times, doing all these driveways that are worth $1,500, $2,000 a piece.
Yeah.
And then it's the few commercial ones. This year we've done my church. I talked to my pastor, and he wanted to go on with it. And we did a 43,000 square foot parking lot, and that was amazing. And then he is friends with the president of U-Haul, and they've treated us amazing. At first, he said, let's do some work. We went a little silent, and then we decided to finally meet together, do the first line striping job. He's seen our ethics, he's seen the work we've done, and he decided to hand us another job. And now he wants to do all of them, and they're part of Connecticut. So
what I'm hearing you saying is you're in building mode. You're building a reputation that is
building a brand right now. Yeah,
brand that is part of the brand is that glorifying God.
Yeah.
You can't take it out of you, right? Yeah. So it's going to be part of it.
Yep.
Right? So I appreciate that.
I just want to jump on real quick. When he says, I know the owner, the president of U-Haul, I used to plow their U-Hauls. I haven't done their places for like 8 years. All I did was take a used line striper we bought with his lawn sign. I took a simple picture on the side of the road, being funny, put it on Facebook, and he goes, hey, I have all these stores, and I need to get my places line striped. I'm like, William, are you for real? And I just want to give a little kick on that. He invited me to go on a tuna fish trip. I wasn't going to go. I'm cheap. I don't want to go all night and spend 12 hours on a boat fishing. But I caught, there was like 9 of us on there. I caught the last tuna of the day out of 3. It was 100 pounds. 2 other people didn't get a chance to reel a tuna. What my prayer was on that last allowed a trip going down was, God, I want to catch a tuna so these other 2 people can experience how much fun this is. I never caught one, but I don't care. I'm not a selfish person. And these people are all drinking, just being funny. I don't drink. I'm just being me. And I was asking the Lord, how can I share who I am to these people on the boat? So when I got this fish, I mean, we were at like 250. The captain said to go to 180. We have 1 tuna marked. I asked the Lord, and sure enough, I hit it at 180. All of us had to reel the fish in, this big, huge 100-pound tuna. And what I told everybody was, do you know why we got that tuna? Because I asked God for it. Mm-hmm. But I asked God for it because I want to see you guys to understand the enjoyment of catching the tuna. And I feel because my prayer wasn't selfish, that was the only chance I had to share Jesus, and everybody listened because they're so happy to get that last tuna. So I don't know where I got off of that, but that was the president of U-Haul on there. Yeah. And he follows me on Facebook. He's not religious, but he appreciates me. So what I'm saying is U-Haul wasn't given. It was just God and just put it on Facebook. So I want to make it.
You got to do the right things though.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
You got to put the ad out. You got to put the art sign.
Yep.
You got to spend gas.
Oh, yeah.
What does the Bible say? You got to plant seed. You got to plant
You
seed.
got to till the soil, and then you got to plant.
Yeah, I
seed.
forgot. I did
That's
some marketing too for our local higher end town. I did myself out in the paper, and I did find some good success from that. And that right there, that seed went to harvest because it went from one neighbor to the next neighbor to my friend to this. I'm like, man, like that's just amazing, you know?
so good. So let's pretend something real quick. You crawl through this mic, you go down through this line, and someone's listening to this podcast while they're walking down a path with their ear pods in, right? Or they're in the car and you're sitting next to them. And you want to say one last thing about greatness to them, about what would you say? You say you got 30 seconds to a minute, you're going to disappear. And they listened to this and they were inspired by your story. You got 30 more seconds. What are you going to say?
Well, you hit me with this. Oh man. I would tell them the greatness is following the Lord with your heart, with your whole heart, in business, becoming that person you want to be, and don't let those doubts and fears hold you back. Because even with me, the sole reason why I'm not where I want to be at my age is because of doubts and fear. And I would say, don't listen to that. Become the best person you can be and follow the Lord, and I will bring you to greatness.
I agree completely. So thank you guys for coming on. I know it wasn't very comfortable, was it?
Yeah,
bad when you think about it.
yeah.
Questions were a little hard.
Never did a podcast before, so this was definitely interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I do another one where you asked me from like my start to where I am now. I can give you like an hour right there.
Yeah.
I can tell my whole story.
Yeah. Well, I think you summed a lot of it up. I think the listeners are going to go, oh, that's pretty encouraging. That's pretty intriguing, right? It's a good story.
Yeah.
It's a good story. And we learn as much or more through stories than we can do other lessons in our life.
Yep.
So I appreciate that you're here. And I will close out the podcast today by saying, everybody that's out there, go be great, like Jacob.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great night.
Amen.